I haven't actually been speaking since you've been back, so just to officially welcome you back, and it's great to see you back in the chair. I welcome any of the increases, and I think at the time of the budget I had said that I welcomed the changes in the means testing for the fuel allowance, because there was a lot of people that fell outside of the fuel allowance by a margin, so that's very good. But the reason I actually looked to speak on this evening is there were three things I wanted to raise that I think are really, really important. And that's to do with the waiting times, firstly for community welfare. So I have today just had to try and contact the St Vincent de Paul for somebody who's been waiting 12 weeks for an answer from community welfare. The whole idea of community welfare is that it's an emergency, is that it's called an exceptional needs payment. You can't wait 12 weeks, and that's putting unnecessary pressure on the scant resources of the St Vincent de Paul. So that we have to do something in relation to the timeframes for community welfare. And in lots of areas, particularly rural areas, you can't actually get in to see a human being anymore. It's leave a message on a mobile number, and you may or may not get contacted back. I understand everyone is under pressure, but people who are going to community welfare are under pressure. That's the reason they're going there. There has also been really serious delays in the processing of fuel allowance. We're seeing an average about a 10-week. People who are coming into us. Again, fuel allowance, it's for fuel that you need now, for this week, for next week. It's not something that you can afford to have in a lump sum. We're in the winter now and people need that money. So that's another issue I wanted to raise. And finally, the delays in the processing of work and family payment. And I specifically raised those three issues because they're payments that people need nearly immediately, or at least within a 2-week time frame. Community welfare, as I said, is an emergency situation. Work and family payment, most people, you know, there's this crazy situation sometimes with social welfare where you'll be sent a form for an exceptional needs payment and told, apply for this in the interim. Once you are working, you're not going to qualify for that. But while you're waiting on your work and family payment, you might only be living on maybe 2 days' work or whatever it is. So that's something that we really need to address, the waiting times for those payments. And again, for fuel allowance, because there are three areas where people need that money nearly immediately, or certainly within, you know, a reasonable time frame, and I think 2 weeks is certainly reasonable. For community welfare, I really believe we need to figure out a system where people can go in and actually speak to somebody. That was a system not even that long ago, but a number of years ago, and it was great because people potentially could get money there and then for situations. And there is a huge amount of people as well being rejected from community welfare. They're being told it doesn't fall within, that's something that they should have budgeted for. So that's not taking account of all of the massive increases that we've all seen in everything, that you maybe last year were able to budget for that, but this year you can't due to the increase in costs and everything else. So I just think that there needs to be definitely a review of the waiting times for those three payments, and community welfare in general. It needs to get a little bit more adaptable, and I think that's why we need to go back to having someone that you can speak to, that you can actually explain the situation. It's a lot more, it's easier for people, and sometimes the person on the other end will understand more when they can actually speak to the person. Apologies for going over time.
Thank you, Deputy Funchion.